Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and I wanted to go over all the lists from the NAWCQ that top, starting with the World's Qualifying Points Playoffs thingy that they had where Jose and Ruben both qualified, and then I'm going to go over the top cut of the actual NAWCQ from Saturday and Sunday, and I'm going to be doing this for Europe too, probably in a couple days once a lot of their lists come out. But going over these two lists here, so we have Jose's list that he played in the points playoffs. We can see that we have Bistials in the main deck, Droll in the main deck, Marner at 2, Ogre at 1. A lot of people did say that Ogre was very good for them over the weekend. So I wonder if they ended up bumping this up for the main event or not. Then we can look at the extra deck. We can see no access code or anything. They side deck the access code Dark M7. These two for going second, this one for going first. They play in the side deck Lullaby of Obedience, which, remember, this is also the points playoffs, so, like, you know, you're gonna assume that you're playing against mostly Snake Eye Fiendsmith, so something like Lullaby of the Obedience is, like, really good, and same with Crossout. Honestly, like, the whole side deck you can use against Fiendsmith Snake Eye. Like, going first, you can put these 9 in. Going second, you could put these 3 in, maybe these also if you want to. I'm not sure if they were doing that or not. But now going on to the next list, which was Ruben's list from the points playoffs, also 45 cards. They didn't play Mourner, they played triple Ogre. They also main decked the Bistials, no Droll in the main deck, they main decked Talents. Also, both players played 1-for-1 in the deck too. Side deck, we got Angel of the Blue Tears with the trap cards. We have the 3 extra deck cards being side decked again. Cross out, we have Dark Ruler. No skill journey or anything like that. These are their going first stuff. So they have Dark Ruler in the side deck. Dark Ruler also becomes a lot better if you play a lot of hand traps, because then you can hand trap the opponent, make them end on a half board, and then Dark Ruler them, because Dark Ruler doesn't even work against like a full end board. Otherwise they just Desiree negate it. In a lot of instances, even in the Snake Eye deck, because a lot of people are playing the Silhouette Rabbit now, so they'll always have the trap that they can set. And then chain trap, and then chain Desiree to Dark Ruler, so they can stop Dark Ruler in Snake Eye pretty easily now too. But okay, going on to the actual NAWCQ that wasn't the points playoffs. Just looking at the top 64 breakdown, we can see, you know, 30 Snake Eye, 13 Tenpai, 9 U-Bell, 3 Runic Stun, and then it just goes down pretty quick. 2 Ritual Beast, 2 Gimmick Puppet, and then just a bunch of 1-ups. I guess I could press show more. Okay, it doesn't even go much further, but we have 1 Despia, 1 Labyrinth, 1 Vanquish Soul, 1 Tear Limit, and 1 Memento. I actually didn't even know the Memento topped, so that's pretty cool. But okay, so hopping into some of these lists now. We have Aditya's list, who ended up winning the tournament, also playing 45 cards in the deck. We can see that they main decked more Bistials, which I think is a pretty good meta call overall, which I think, okay, I don't think it is now, but I think it was a really good meta call overall, knowing that you're going to be playing against a lot of the Fiendsmith type decks, and these cards cook against them. The reason why I say it was is because now we are seeing a lot more decks pop up. A lot of people are really trying the other decks, really trying to play the other decks, and I don't know, I guess like they had some success over in the EUWCQ with the other decks, so maybe these aren't the greatest choices anymore, or maybe those players just got lucky and Snake Eye's still just better, and it's still okay to have some cards that aren't great into that matchup because your deck's just better overall. So you should be able to win the match still, even if you happen to draw one of these like game 1 against something that's not going to work against, like Ritual Beast or Tenpai maybe. And they still work as extenders for your own deck, which is sweet. 2 Ogre, 2 Mourner. They play the Angel statue with the Rabbit. They don't play the Necroquip Princess, which I think is like kind of fair enough if you're playing Silhouette Rabbit. You really don't have the space for it. They're side decking the access code Dark. We see Crossout, Phantasme, Molcharmy, Cosmic, Skill Drain on the side. Just 2 of them though. Okay, so yeah, nothing crazy about that list. Going on to the next one. I am happy that they played Rabbit though. I think that card's super sick. So now we have Trishula TTV. Had access code in the extra deck. Doesn't side deck any Extra deck cards here. We just see, they go in first Angel of Blue Tears, Dark Ruler, Crossout, Called by, Ogre, March Army. They main deck the Ash, Mourner, 3 Nib, 3 Veiler, 3 Droll, 3 Bestials, and 3 Imperm. No 1-for-1 in the list. They do play the Necro-Equip Princess in their extra deck, which does help you play through hand traps a little bit better. Then we have Landon Oliver's list, who got third place with it. Is top 4 for sure. But okay, they're only playing 40 cards in the list. So what was different with this list? We play 2 Bestials, 3 Ash, 2 Ogre, 3 Nib, 3 Veiler, 3 Imperm. Okay, so they just cut down on non-engine then. Okay, yeah, pretty sure that's like the only thing that's different between these lists is just cutting down on non-engine. I was gonna say, yeah, it doesn't look like anything else is cut. Then we have side deck M7 access code, Angel of Blue Tears. We also played the Black Goat last, which you can dump off Beatrice. So I guess you could end up using this twice, because you could actually Angel of Blue Tears for like a magic deflector, and then Beatrice to like get to the Black Goat last. And then you have both those set up, and that's like really strong, especially against something like Tenpai, where magic deflector just shuts down their field spell, their quick play spell, cards like that. On to the next list now. We have the last person who qualified for the World Championship, which is Marshall D. Teach, playing the U-Bell deck. And we can see that they played 45 cards in the deck, which isn't the most standard. They played 3 Gruesome Grave, they played Mature Chronicle, they played 3 Opening, they played 2 Tractus, played 1-for-1, Called by in the main. We see a good amount of hand traps, good amount of non-engine cards overall. And then extra deck, we see the Aerial Eater, the Necro-Equip Princess. This card's pretty good. Makes this card a lot easier, the DDD. We don't see any Beatrice in the extra deck. Then we see, Apo. Yeah, they definitely cut down the links a little bit to be able to play like the Aerial Eater, the DDD over Beatrice, which is fine. It's fine. We see DDG, D-Barrier, Thrust. Yeah, there's no Angel of Blue Tears or anything, no Beatrice. But Thrust into like DDG or D-Barrier is still very strong. Having access to pretty much 4 copies of either of these, because if you don't get hand trapped, you win the game. It's really just simple as that. So they have to hand trap you to have a chance. And then if they hand trap you, you can try to get like a floodgate off of it. And then now this was top 8 piloted by Brandon Elmore, playing Tenpai, 1 win away from going to Worlds, playing Raigeki, Lightning Storm. Yeah, I was going to say, if you play these cards, I feel like you still need like, a decent, healthy balance of hand traps, because like I said, board breakers don't really work by themselves. You kind of need like hand trap and board breaker, or I guess you could just have a bunch of board breakers and hope that they work. But we see Shifter, Ash Blossom, Droll, Bestial, Magmamut, Raigeki, Lightning Storm, Talons, Imperm, and 40. Pretty good. They played 2 Genroku, 1 Fadra. A lot of people have been cutting this card down to 1 since the Genroku and the Dora Dora came out. Extra deck, they played 2 of the rank 10, or 2 of the Synchro 10s, 2 Seal, which is actually crazy. They played Doolittle, Princess, Hida, play Scolding, Warlords. I really like Scolding. I'm actually kind of happy that they're playing this card. I think this card's just a better Solemn Strike. Overall, I mean, it's Solemn Strike, but it's also Solemn Judgment. It's such a good card. This card's always slept on. Playing Power Filter. I mean, that's just for Snake Eye, I'm guessing. I mean, it doesn't work against this deck. I was going to say, all these bodies are big. I guess Genroku it works against, but you're not really going to set it in for that. So I guess you could put it in against a bunch of random matchups. You could also put it in against Snake Eye, Pearly. I'm sure there's other ones too. I'm just not thinking of. U-Bell. Yeah, you put it in against U-Bell for sure. Cosmic, Harpies, Drago, and then some Nibs. Now we have Brain of Despia. They got top 16 at the tournament. Looking at the list real quick, we see... Oh, there's not even 3 fusion duplication on it. They only have 2 total. Kind of surprised about that. TC Boo, Black Goat Laughs, Druid's Room in the side. And then looking at the main deck, there's nothing really crazy. I guess like they're only playing 1 Quem. I think the second one comes up a good amount. They played some Bestials in the deck. These help with stuff like High Spirits, but they are also just pretty good cards overall. Like, they're decent hand traps, Magma being able to search for something else, Sornier being able to dump something else. They have like multiple uses, and then playing tons of board breakers. On to the next list now. We have Kamal Crooks, Fiendsmith Snake Eye list, playing 45 cards. This looks like this is literally just like the list that like Ruben was playing earlier. I mean, they probably tested together, of course, but I'm pretty sure this is like the card for card list, same thing. So not really too much to say about that. And then we have Runic Stun that got top 16. And we have, let's see, anything gooey in here. I guess 2D Fissure in the main. Yeah, no Gozen match in the main, just side decks it, which is fair. Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell. Grave of the Super Ancient Organism, sure. Siding into more Floodgate monsters, Inspector Border. Maybe just putting Inspector Border going in first over the Amano. But yeah, Curse Seal was probably pretty good for them, being able to stop stuff. They didn't play Judgment anywhere, though. Yeah, I mean, there's really not like too much to say about this deck. You kind of have to get a little bit lucky to be able to win a tournament with it, because like overall, you know, worse than the other decks for sure. Especially if like, especially this deck. But like, if you get the full combo with like any Fiendsmith deck, it becomes really hard to break it. But this was top 16 with Fiendsmith, Yubel, and we have, let's see, 2 Gruesome Grave, 2 Nightmare Pain, 1 Tractus, 1 Dark Ruler, 1 Nib, 1 Droplet, 2 Talons, 2 Draw. Definitely some awkward ratios in the deck. Side decks, 2 March Army, 2 Spooky Dogwood, which, okay, this one actually doesn't make sense at all. I guess like maybe you don't have space, but I don't know. I feel like there's like a lot of random one-ofs in the list. Well, okay, yeah, pretty much the same extra deck as the person who got 4th place. And then looking at the next list, we have Tempai Dragon that got top 16, playing 43 cards, plays 2 Fadra, main deck March Army, Shifter, Bestials, Lightning Storm, Change of Heart, a Mind Control, Droplet, Imperm. Okay, so yeah, Ash Blossom 2. So they have a few hand traps in their deck. You know, March Army, you know, try to draw 2 cards. You could draw like Ash Blossom, Bestial, or Imperm. Maybe you had Shifter before you drop this. Also, they're playing the Grand Tusk Dragon, which you can summon off Seal and then it pops 2. So that's really cool, playing this and playing the Drago. Because this card might just be better than Drago overall, because people are not expecting this card at all. So if you drop this card, you might just like win off of it. But I'm not sure. But this card is very strong. Definitely needs to be looked into more. And then we have Heat Wave, Crossout, D-Barrier. They're also playing the Doolittle Princess. They play the Samurai Destroyer to have a better Yubel matchup. And then honestly, it's very good they play Ruddy Rose, because there was a lot of Tenpai mirror matches at the NAWCQ, and this card helps out with the mirror match, because if you send them first, you know, they're going to try to put like Bonnet in the graveyard, Transcend it in the graveyard, and then you can Ruddy Rose banish them so that you can try to go for game easy. I guess you could also go for this, but you know, the graveyard is like an actual problem that you do have to like deal with. And then going on to Dominic Couch, who got top 32 at the tournament, playing 5 Bestials, playing the Rabbit. Oh, it doesn't show the side deck. Okay. It doesn't show the side deck. There's probably some goo in there. Then we got Valor, Nib, 2 Ogre, 3 Ash. Playing all the Bestials, I feel like, as long as you just play against, like, Fiendsmith decks, like, this is going to be super strong. Like, you have Baldrake, right? And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards that can work with the Baldrake that you draw. So this can be an extra interruption so many times that you draw it. And then obviously going first, you can make it an extra interruption pretty easily. But yeah, I don't know. This probably went really good for them, unless they lost to like Tenpai or something. Then it probably did not go very well for them. But going on to the next list, we have Sean Killian, which, you know, we've seen a lot on the channel. Got some main deck Bestials, Ash, Mourner, Veiler, Droll, Nib, Imperm. Yeah, pretty standard main deck, nothing crazy. Extra deck, also nothing crazy. Side deck, also nothing crazy. I guess Cosmic Dark Ruler. But yeah, it's like pretty standard list. It's just Sean Killian plays well, plays a lot of money matches. So that's probably just how they made it, just playing well. Then we have another Runic Stun. This is by Johnny Nugan, Asian Persuasion, and we have a Scrubbed Raid in the list this time. That's actually crazy to play Scrubbed Raid, right? Isn't this card just like worse than Synchro Zone? I guess like if they summon Synchros, then like this card's better. But I don't know. Synchro Zone's pretty good. Main deck Ancient or Grave of the Ancient Organism. We got Card Scanner, only 2 Desires, D-Fissure. Then we have in the side deck Spooky Dogwood, Shifter, Unending Nightmare. Good card for the mirror match. But if you really want like a great card for the mirror match, you could put Runic Allure in. But maybe Unending Nightmare is for something else too that I'm just not like thinking about right away. But okay, hopping into the next list now. We have Snake Eye, Fire King, Vanquish Soul. I got top 64. Yeah. Pause. What is this? What even is this? I'm trying to like look at everything. So I mean, yeah, there's a Fire King engine in it. There's Black Witch in it. There's Vanquish Soul cards in it. Yeah, I mean, there's also Snake Eye cards in it. What am I supposed to say about this list? Like, how does it even work? I guess, yeah, I don't know. I guess you can get the Vanquish Soul to Snake Eye. I know you can do that, but can you get the Snake Eye to Vanquish Soul? I don't think so. I don't think there's a way to do that. So, I'm not too sure exactly what the full synergy here is. You get a lot of fires to hand, and Geo Long is, like, the best Vanquish Soul if it starts to resolve. Then we have, okay, Extra deck looks wild, too. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about this deck list. This is a wild deck list. Honestly, congrats to them for topping, because this is not normal at all. Then we have Shaddoll Tier Limit that was able to top. Probably just not even Shaddoll Tier Limit. I hate how it says Shaddoll Tier Limit there. But top 64. Yeah, because we have a few Shaddolls in the deck. Get some good value mills. 1 Shuffler, because it kind of is a brick. Choose the one with higher attack. They could have side decked the other one, though. And then we have Nessie, Mothman. Okay, yeah, so it's literally just like tier limit. Kind of surprised we don't see like the Black Goat Laughs anywhere or anything like that. I feel like we've been seeing that more. No Fiendsmith cards in the deck. I feel like we've been seeing Fiendsmith tier limit a little bit more. So interesting that they just went back to like what worked. Now we have Memento with the Fiendsmith engine in it. This probably worked out very well. A lot of people just don't know what Memento cards do. They're not very good against them, which is fair, right? It's not a very played deck. Like, even I would have to reread over the cards while playing against them, even though I've commentated over, like, 10 matches of it. And, I'm pretty sure I know what most of the cards do. But also the combos can get kind of nice. They're not playing, like, the huge combo, which is probably fair enough. You really don't need it. If you end with, like, Cranium Burst, that's like multiple monster negates, and then you have like, I guess like a Herald of Mirage Lights, a DDD, Wave High King Caesar, like that's pretty good right there. Maybe a non-engine card with it. Main deck Crow's a little bit wild. Maybe I'm not sure what they're crowing. I was gonna say because you can crow Flameburge, and then it's a 1-of and it's gone forever, and then you can just play grind game with them. And if they don't know your deck at all, like taking them to the grind game does sound crazy. Now we have Gimmick Puppet FTK, 1 Cosmic in the main, 2 Droplet, 1 Skill Drain, 2. Okay, come on now. It is crazy that they top with this deck, but like, man, some of these ratios, it's just like, I don't know. Like, it's just no way it makes sense. Like, I get it. Like, I get sometimes, like, the cards don't always need to be 3-ofs, right? Sometimes it's like, okay, I play 2 Droplet in the main, I can side these out, put these 2 cards from the side deck in, blah, 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 have your siding patterns down completely. But I don't believe it here. I'm not a believer. I'm just not a believer. So, on to The next list, I like how this one it says FTK and the last one it didn't, but they're definitely both just FTK decks. Oh, we even have cross out for Shifter in the side. But yeah, we have cross out with some of the more popular hand traps, Imperm, Droplet. Yeah, just playing some going second cards ourselves too, and then Horus package, FTK package. See, I like this list. This list looks solid overall. Playing Rakeki in the side deck only. Then we have Ritual Beasts, which this deck's sick. I think this deck's cool. Yeah, they're playing evenly. Dark Ruler, Book of Eclipse, Shifter. We've seen this in so many of the Ritual Beasts recently, where they just go to like straight board breaker type cards, which I think is fair enough for the deck. Yeah, I would definitely say like you need to know how to play against this deck. Like this deck is getting a little bit more popular. I think it's a deck that you could definitely play against like maybe once at a tournament. You don't want to misplay against it, so if you don't know what these cards do, try to learn what they do, play against it on DB, or even just like watch my videos of the deck, and it'll probably teach you enough. We see one side deck March Army, D-Fissure, Anti-Spell, Cowboy for Time. Then we have a Tenpai Dragon list. There is nothing interesting about this list besides 2 Fadra. Yeah, everything else looks pretty standard. Oh, no Princess line. That's pretty interesting. Then we have another Tenpai list. Playing all the board breakers. Imperm, Shifter, March Army for hand traps, and then Dark Ruler, Regeki, Droplet, Cosmic, Lightning Storm. Kind of surprised it didn't main deck 2 Lightning Storm, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like if you put a second Lightning Storm in over a Cosmic, I feel like the Lightning Storm will end up being better, but obviously they thought otherwise, so fair enough, I'll trust them. Oh my gosh, they play a Zeus package. I don't think I've seen a Zeus package in this deck like actually stick, but they actually top with it. Wow, okay, sweet, that's cool. They don't play the Princess package though. Interesting that they played Doolittle. Well, okay, on to the, oh my gosh, their synchros are a little bit weird too. It's a little bit of a weird extra deck overall. Going on to the Fiendsmith Snake Eye list, I got top 64. We see Archfiend Eccentric in the side deck. This pretty much makes it to where like your Tractus and your Engravers are all MSTs post side deck, so that's pretty cool. DD Crow, Bestials, Cosmics, Called by, Skill Drain, Black Goat Laughs, sure, no cross out anywhere though. And then yeah, extra deck looks fine. Side deck's the access code. Okay, yeah, and the rest of it looks pretty standard. And then on to the last list, which is another Fiendsmith Snake Eye list. We have DD Crow in the main deck. We actually have cross out in the main deck, cutting down on non-engine, which I think is very incorrect. I think your deck plays through hand traps very, very well. And I think you need to be able to stop the opponent's deck that can also play through hand traps very, very well, right? Assuming that you're playing a mirror match. So you need to hand trap them even more, or have like more going second type cards. And I don't think this card's, making the cut for the main deck right now. Instead of playing this in the main deck like we did before, we just play Engravers. So instead of having a card that stops a hand trap, we just have an extender that also like helps other scenarios too, because any 2 monsters can get to this. But then we see DD Crow in the main deck. Yeah, interesting choice. Side decking Bestials, Pankratops, Black Goat Laughs, Rise to Full Height, which is a really good card against Tenpai. That probably helped him a lot throughout the tournament, to be honest, with all the Tenpai there was. Being able to just dump this off Beatrice and pretty much telling the opponent, you cannot end the game. There is no way to do it. Pretty much just telling them that, it's like, that's just got to be huge, having that option. Maybe that's something that we see more moving forward once people start putting a little bit more respect on Tenpai. Maybe we see more Ghost Ogre in the main deck, side deck, more respect for Tenpai, just stuff like that. Because I think overall Snake Eye is still just the best deck. But I think, if you overly prepare for the mirror match, decks like Tenpai will be able to come into the format and be able to beat you. Because their decks are made to beat you. And if your deck's made to beat the mirror match, and then you play against Tenpai, you might just lose. And they also have really strong cards like Shifter in their deck. So you have to be able to beat stuff like that too. So, having like Skill Drain, Rise to Full Height, Cross Out, like, these are all like super good cards into the matchup. And then imagine there's also like Ogre somewhere in the list too. Like, these just help you a bunch, an absolute bunch. But Alright, that's going to be it for the video. Also, I am going to be uploading the top 4 in the finals, the NAWCQ, here later. So stay tuned for that. And with all that being said, the DB Grinders signing off. Peace. Have a nice day. Stay safe.